Good morning, students. For standard 10, we are going to continue with the chapter on transpiration. Now remember, in the last class we had finished till the significance of transpiration. Now today we are going to study about the difference between guttation and transpiration. I told you about guttation and transpiration. That guttation is a phenomenon which takes place during the night or early morning, and transpiration is a phenomenon which takes place in the daytime. That means mostly in the afternoon. Now what is guttation? Guttation is actually the process of giving out water in form of solution from the veins of the leaf, and that is by a process which is that occurs due to the root pressure or the turgor pressure. So the two phenomena is different. So we have to know the difference between transpiration and guttation. So guttation and transpiration difference we have to know. That what are the difference between transpiration and guttation. Now first is the difference in organ. Transpiration takes place through stomata or through the lenticels or through the cuticle, whereas guttation takes place through a certain structure which is called the hydathodes. Now these hydathodes are found where at the tip of the veins, where the veinlets end, there you find this hydathodes. Now when there is a root pressure, that root or the turgor pressure, the water has a streaming movement, and if there is excess water in the plant, then from the veins through this organ of hydathodes, this water come out through the xylem vessels, and those water are solution water. If you find they are not pure water, it will contain various minerals, various salts in it. Whereas transpiration water is pure water. That means it is form of water vapor. So this is another difference, that the type of water that is given out by this process. Guttation takes place, as I told you, if you see the time of occurrence in early morning, where transpiration takes place in the afternoon mostly. Guttation takes place in a weather where the humidity is more. Okay, that means if the humidity is more, then guttation takes place. Transpiration takes place in less humid condition. So most of the factors which affect transpiration is just the factors which are opposite, that which affects guttation. That means they are vice versa. Though the process is the phenomenon is same, that they give out water. So that is the difference between the process of transpiration and guttation. So generally here 1 mark question can come, but always the question comes in terms of reference. So suppose they can give you the reference of the organ where this two phenomenon takes place. So you have to suppose if it is given organ, you have to write transpiration takes place in stomata, cuticle or lenticels, and guttation takes place through the hydathodes. That is the basic difference you have to write. But you cannot write, suppose a reference, a different reference answer you cannot give. Suppose you are asked on the organ, you have to write on the basis of organ, or else no marks will be awarded for that. Now the next thing that we are going to study about is the potometer. This potometer is called the Ganong's potometer. Okay, Ganong's potometer. Now what is a potometer? A potometer is a instrument by which we can demonstrate transpiration, or you can even tell about the factors which influence transpiration. So you can see in this Ganong's potometer there is a reservoir here, and here there is a cork which is a small split in between, not split, a small bore is there, the perforation is there in this cork, through which you can insert a plant. Now this plant should be a freshly cut plant, and this part should be cut slantly. That this is the way it should be cut, so that it exposes more surface area for absorption of the water. So it should not be a blunt cut. So it is inserted here, and this area is made perfectly airtight. So it is inserted. Now there is a second reservoir here with a stop cock here, which you can insert the water. So if you put vertically, the water moves in and if you put it horizontally, the tap closes so the water doesn't move in. Here you have a tube. This tube is there are two concentric tubes. One tube is inside and one tube is outside. This reservoir is connected here with this tube, inside tube, which is a capillary tube, and this capillary tube comes out here. There is an opening in this particular point. This part of the tube is graduated. Here you can have a scale also. And before we start, here you can put a beaker of colored water, and this side there is an opening. Now what is done in this, how to use this instrument? First you put a plant, which can be a rooted plant or it should be a cut shoot also, and this part should be perfectly airtight. You can seal it with grease or Vaseline. Okay, here you pour the water and make the tap open so that the water moves in through this and it drives here and drives out. If there is any air bubble inside, it will drive it out of it. So inside there will be filled with water, and then you close the what you call the stopcock. Now if you close the stopcock and this part is airtight, then no water moves out. You will see that there is no water coming out. But if there is any leakage in this part or in this part, the water will be drained out. Now you insert it into a beaker of water, but before inserting, you insert a small air bubble. This air bubble is a marker. Okay, this air bubble here is a marker. By this air bubble you will see if the air bubble proceeds this side, that means the water is being used up. So what we see here, that the air bubble is a marker. In the beginning of the experiment, we pour water and drive this air bubble to the end. Okay, now you can clamp this instrument to a clamp stand and you put it in different conditions. Suppose you can put it in sunlight, once you can put it in diffuse light, one you can put it in airy place, one you can put it in a not so airy place, and allow this instrument to work, and you will see that this, as the transpiration takes place from here to the leaf, the water will be absorbed, and as the water will be absorbed, this side is closed, this air bubble will move this side. Now you can find out the rate of movement of this air bubble with time, that say half an hour interval, how far it moves, how much, and you can see on this graduated scale that how many centimeters it moves in 1 hour at different conditions. So a Ganox photometer is an instrument by which you will do this in practical also, by which you can find out the rate of transpiration at different conditions. Now there is another experiment we will do. This experiment is to find out the rate of transpiration in a dicot leaf or in a monocot leaf, how much it takes place in the abaxial surface and the adaxial surface. That means how much it takes place on the upper surface and how much it takes place on the lower surface. What you have to do is take a well-watered potted plant and here you put 2 cobalt chloride paper, one on the upper surface and one on the lower surface. So COCl2 paper on the lower surface, here COCl2 paper on the upper surface, and you just clip it with a paper and keep this total experimental potted plant in the sun for few hours, and just not few hours, a couple hours, means 1 hour or 30 minutes you can keep. Take out the COCl2 paper from both the surfaces, and you will see that the COCl2 paper on the lower surface that turns more pink than on the upper surface. Now what is the inference or what is the conclusion? So we know that in a dicot plant, if it is a dicot plant, then the stomata's distribution is more on the lower surface than on the upper surface. So naturally on the lower surface, the paper of COCl2 paper will turn blue to pink, showing that water has come out. Then on the upper surface it will be less, because of course if the stomata is not present also it will turn, because cuticular transpiration takes place. But in isobilateral leaf, in a monocot leaf, you will see on both the surface more or less the the pinkness of the paper will be similar, as because the distribution of the stomata in isobilateral leaf is almost equal. So this is an experiment to show that which leaf surface transfers more water or less water. Now we have to know, this is the last part of this chapter, and particularly this semester I think this is the last chapter. So we have to know about anti-transparents. So what are anti-transparent? That is, anti means opposite. So those substances which do not allow transpiration is called anti-transparent. So what are anti-transparents? Like for example, if you have to know about chemical anti-transparent, PMA is a chemical anti-transparent. PMA means phenyl mercury acetate is an anti-transparent. Vaseline is a physical anti-transparent. Phenyl mercury acetate is actually a herbicide which do not allow, which causes leaf fall. And if leaf fall is there, naturally the transpiration will be less. Vaseline is a type of, or grease is a type of chemical anti-transparent. Cellophane papers are used sometimes as an anti-transparent, which is a physical anti-transparent. And aspirin is also an anti-transparent, which is a chemical anti-transparent. So sometimes these questions are asked that what is an anti-transparent? Name to physical anti-transparent or to chemical anti-transparents. So anti-transparents are those which reduces the rate of transpiration. Now what is the significance of these anti-transparents? What is the use? Anti-transparents are used basically in places in the desertic areas for cultivation where transpiration has to be reduced. There these anti-transparents are sprayed so that the transpiration is lessened in the plant, and the cultivation can take place. So this is all about the chapter on transpiration. So you have to study all these things. You go through the lesson. If you have any question, you can put up the question, and any queries you can ask through the